What's up, family? Welcome into another edition of Make Every Second Count Live with me, your host, and international award-winning Make Every Second Count speaker. Every time I say that, I'm just like, wow, I can't believe it myself. But I want to welcome you guys to the show tonight. I ask you if you would please smash that like button. And don't forget to give us all kinds of comments. Ask as many things as you would like. If I find the question valuable, I will ask the question. If I don't find it valuable, guess what? I won't ask it. Sorry, but that's just the way it is. It's my show, and I love it that way. So, I wanted to say also, please share this episode out. Invite all kinds of people to watch this episode because I know this guy has a powerful, powerful story, and it's something that will not be missed. So learn it here or be square. All right. I want to welcome Roland Thompson. Hey, Roland, how are you?
Unbelievable, Jeff. How are you doing?
Oh, I am so good and I'm getting better every minute. The only bad thing about that is if I get any better, there will be two of me. And at that point, the world can't even handle one of me. So, two of me in the world, I don't know that the world will be able to handle that.
Well, with what you're doing, the world needs more people like you, just so
Well,
that you're
thank
aware of that.
I appreciate that, sir. And I want to extend a hello to Robert Brooker, who says hi, Jeff, and he also says hi, Roland. Now, he is from Canada, so international show right now.
Yeah, well, hello, Robert Brooker, eh?
Hey. And then we have Abigail Unfred in the house too, and she is from Kansas City. So I am excited about the show tonight. I really am. And I just want to say thank you for taking the time out of your busy evening to be with me and my viewers. So if you would like to go through a short introduction, tell everybody who you are, where you're from, and what exactly you do.
Well, I hail from Pasco, Washington, southeast corner of Washington State, so on the west side, and going on I'm going to be my next birthday. I'm going to be 75 years old. So I've had a lot of really great challenges in my life. I think I was just sharing with you during my meditation this morning, and I realized and I reflect back and challenges. I've done 3 tours in Vietnam. I've lost several family members and gone through a lot. Done a couple of books, and but one of the things that I was reflecting on was all these challenges that I have endured these past 74 years had conditioned me to be the person I am today. And I am grateful for this abundance. And at first, I did not see the benefits. But today, I look forward to the benefits of the new challenges that I'm faced with. And one of the quotes I've always loved was, it always works out in the end. If it's not working out, it's not the end. I own a few businesses. I have in the entertainment business. We have a Soul Found Entertainment, one of the top recording studios in the Northwest, which I partner with my son, who's in Nashville, and covering the CMAs these last few weeks, last week, and I've got just it's a great life, and I've gone through health issues, and so I am just very, very blessed to be alive, and very blessed to get to know people like you and connected with so many people throughout the world, actually. So So what I do now is I'm co-founder of GrandConnect, and when you and I first met back a few years ago, we were both working on working with Jake, and and I was starting a nonprofit foundation. So one of the things was my purpose. It was a calling, and it was at the beginning of 2018, and and I thought, you know what? I've got a lot of experience, a lot of education. I was ready for this calling, and I called it the Heart of the Fathers Foundation
Yeah.
only because it was, the future fate of the world is going to be determined by the mindset of the youth. And at the time, I've had a couple of close friends who lost their teenage sons to suicide. I get a call from one of my adult kids, and they tell me that one of their children's in the hospital from attempting suicide. And I was like, what's going on? How can how can we fix the world if we're not even connecting with these youth?
Yeah.
So I started the Heart of the Father Foundation was based on the last two verses in the Old Testament and in the Bible. And I thought, man, I was ready for it. So and I've got one book I had was 40 years in the financial world. So I did now that I'm retiring, what do I do with my money? That book, and I did a book with Jack Canfield, The Art of Success, which was I did it only because I knew it was going to be a bestseller. So it was all ego driven, is the way I say it now. So anyway, I guess that's kind of a quick introduction. We're almost done now, huh?
No, sorry. I was inviting some people on my phone right there because I want everybody to hear this message.
Okay.
So, when I was 17, I was in a severe car accident. I actually spent 2.5 months in a coma and 3.5 in the hospital. I was told I shouldn't be walking right now, but guess what? I am. I've walked countries, and I have walked in other countries, and I am just so shocked at the things I have been able to do. But I believe that is because I actually grew through that thing. I didn't just go through that thing. So, has there been anything in your life that you have had to grow through?
Well, one of a very big topic that's going on today, and it's is kind of where I just last month finished it's called GrandConnect. It's a guide for grandparents and future grandparents, but actually, it's written for everybody. And one of the things is connecting with other people, especially with grandchildren and family and people, is that a lot of people are dealing with a lot of serious trauma and wounds in their life, and they walk around in this world wearing masks and poses, and shame is one of the things that keeps them from opening up. And we found that de-shaming is when you are vulnerable, it takes care of de-shaming. People worry about what other people think. They worry about opinions and judgments, and what I have found is that opinions, judgment, perceptions, and criticisms only take you further away from the truth. And what we have to do is have people connect their heart to heart with others and not be afraid of talking about the things that have happened to them in their life. And when you open it up and you realize that the things that you worry about, what people think and stuff, is all in your own head. People are welcoming, and you've dealt with that kind of a issue, and so this is one of the main focuses that we have with the GrandConnect, and and so we have the guide, and it's grandconnect.com. We created an app for people. It's called the Grand Tracker. And if you go to GrandConnect.com, you could go to the Grand Tracker, and it's free for everybody. And it's kind of a cool little app that helps people. For me, I have 52 grandchildren.
52?
Yeah, I know. Who are all these kids? Why do they keep calling me grandpa? You know. So, and I created this
Yeah.
7 or 8 years ago. It was a thought that I said, I need something that keep track of my grandkids and the important things going on in their life, their birthdays, events. And so we created this app, and I decided, you know what? It could be used for management, for connections. If you have people, you're supervising a group of people and you want to really connect with them, learn what's really important to them and making it about them and not about you. Um, people like to be seen, accepted, loved. Everyone does. And so if you realize that, if you realize that, focus on doing what you can to connect with other people. And the more connections you have, the more life is great. And you've connected with a lot of people, and you know how great it is of all the people we know.
Yeah, look, I know this guy named Roland Thompson who's just wow. I remember when I first met him, he was driving a Tesla,
Still
and
am.
that's before a lot of people have heard of Tesla, and I was like, wow, look at that.
That's the
That
best car I've ever owned.
yeah,
At the 2018, and here it is. I've had it going on 8 years, and it's now my kids all drive Teslas. So,
that's cool.
but
So I have to ask, like you say that it's good to get to know people because your world becomes better when you get to know people. But how do you get to know people without getting into information that you shouldn't really know? I
well, they won't tell you.
no,
You know what I mean? They
okay.
won't tell if they won't. The thing is, you to to be connected. There's people that to truly be connected with people is to be, and that's where like being vulnerable. I found that over the last 8 years, I was stuck. I knew this was my calling. I started doing it. And then the premonition, the voice said that experience was a better teacher than words. And I've got 15 years of schooling and at college, and I've taught at university. I've done all this stuff over my life. And for the last 7, 8 years, I've been reading all of Brene Brown's books, studying philosophy, psychology, Alfred Adler, reading all of Ryan Holiday's books on philosophy, and been doing all of this and realized that all it is knowledge, but then the experience that I received was a better teacher for me. And one of them was that sitting down and getting to know my connecting with my grandchildren now, especially the older ones, and they call me all the time. They want to talk. We have discussions about things that I never dreamed that a grandchild would ever sit down and discuss and be vulnerable and open with me because they know I'm not going to judge them. I'm not going to sit there and criticize them. And there's so many grandparents shouldn't be hanging around with their grandkids because basically they don't realize it yet, but they're toxic. And children need to have somebody, a guardian angel, somebody they can go to that they know they're not going to be judged or criticized. And a grandparent, you can't fake that. You have to transform. And so this guide here is what is a transformational guide in helping people transform that. And so one of the things I've learned was from one of my granddaughters. We were sitting having deep discussion and talking about the issues that her parents are going through, and her family's Hispanic, and she goes, "Well, Grandpa, I guess the ego's not your amigo." I go, "Oh my gosh, that's really profound." And so I learned that, and found that most everything I've always done prior to that was all ego driven. When I used to do a lot of speaking, being on stages and stuff, all ego driven. My first two books, totally ego driven. And it's like, and I feel guilty about doing all that. So now I realize that we all came to earth not for ourselves, but we all came to help others. And so I came up with a thing I'm working on now, which I know we're toward the end, but and you always like to ask what have I learned that could help other people? And I came up with this theory. So Mel came up with this book. Some of you probably read it. The just let them theory is what she calls it. And I don't know if you're familiar with Mel Robbins,
Yeah,
but
I am for the 5 second rule, but
right.
I,
But the
I've
just
never
let
heard
them,
of this.
yeah, the just let them theory is her most recent book, came out a year ago, and it's really good. But this one's called the so that theory. And here's what happened. I was addicted to sugar candy, chocolate. Man, I would just go, I work out, I do my meds. We call them meds. I meditate, I exercise, I diet, and I get plenty of sleep. And so those, but my dieting and doing all that, I was still, my weight was creeping up. And I realized that. So one day I picked up a piece of candy and it's this, and I said, okay, I'm going to eat this candy so everything I do with intention, I always precede it with so that. Well, you know darn well if I eat candy, it's not for anybody else. It's satisfying my own lust, my own addiction, and such. And when I realized that it was only serving my ego, I put that candy down. It was like 2 months ago. And I have not touched sugar or candy since. And so whenever I do something, I say, okay, if it's ego or if it's helping others, I'm doing this so that. And if the so that is to feed my ego, I'm going to get, if somebody's getting angry, I had this with one of my daughter-in-laws. She was angry with me and we're sitting at a game. And I said, so you're angry at me. You're being angry, showing angry at me so that. And she goes, well, so that when you come over, you at least give me warning. And because I used to drive 4 hours to get there, and I figured I was entitled to just drop in and see my grandkids.
Yeah.
But she would get upset. And so I said, yeah, and she goes, so that you would know how frustrated I was that you didn't show up and I couldn't put the dogs away and do, get the house ready so that you can have good time with the grandkids. And I go, wow, I can really see that. And so that changed, and it changed her perspective and acceptance and stuff. So that theory is something that I'm working on, is just realize the ego is not your amigo. When you do something with intention, don't do it for yourself, do it for others. And see, when you start helping other people, like what you're doing, we're doing this. So that what? Why are we doing this podcast? So that
to help everyone else.
That's right. We're not doing it for ourselves.
Yeah.
And so it's a good thing. So anyway, that's my little tidbit of that I would leave, that is really helped me in these past. Actually, it's helped me in the last 6 months a lot. Got me got a book done and stuff.
That wow. I like that ego is not your amigo. But so can you explain the ego? I mean, all right, so honestly, I really don't understand the ego.
Well, here's the way I see life. Like you, I've had some traumatic experiences to where I have been to the edge of eternity, is what I like to call it. In other words, I've been in a couple of comas, I've drowned. And so it only benefits me. That's all. It's not something I can share with others. It's only for me. And when I realized that if we were prior to this life, energy. So I know, I've seen dead people. And when people are dead, there's no energy in their body. It's just laying there. So the soul and the mind and the body. So what if prior to coming to earth, we were all bundles of energy? We were souls. And that there was an infinite number of us, infinite number prior to coming here. And we came to earth and we came into the body, and the body grew. The mind is your operating system. But what if prior to this, while we were souls, we knew who each other was? There was an infinite number of us, and we existed for eternity. The only thing I can tell you is, and it's today in our form of life today, we cannot comprehend eternity or infinity. You can't comprehend it. And so if that's exact, but we knew who each other was. And when we came here and we possessed this body, which is just a bunch of cells operated by energy, and it's a marvelous miracle the way that it works. And our purpose was we knew each other prior and we loved each other, but we didn't know what love was. So when we came to Earth, our mind was blocked. Our mind was blocked to we knowing who each other was. But some people, it's like, I just seem to know that person. I've never met him, but there's that connection we have. And so we come down here. So now we learn what love is because we know hate. And you realize that when we came here, there is no reason for us to come here to benefit ourselves. It's only to benefit other people. Now, in the religious realm, we call it being in the world. Right now, we're all in the world. And then there's of the world, giving into the rhetoric that's going on with politics and everything that's going on, and people are divided and causing all this hate and everything. But then there was so I'll use Christ came to earth. He did not have that blockage of knowing who people were. He knew all the souls. He never did anything for anybody else. And there's other examples: Martin Luther King, Mother Teresa, Mahatma Gandhi. They never did anything for themselves. They always did it for others. So, but he came here, so he was never of the world, given into it. He was more of the spirit of his Father, is what they say. And so he came, and we can tie into the spirit if you meditate and realize that the spiritual part of meditation and the spiritual drive that gives you guidance, but the guidance it gives you, it's never about you, it's about others. So when people are of the world and there's anger and hate and all this stuff, it's all ego driven. Everything of the world is driven for you, and it's ego. When somebody gets angry at you, it's about them. It's all that's the ego part of it. If you look at, but if you are feeling the special spirit of wanting to help people from your challenges, and it's not about you, though there may be some of the ego when you're sitting there and you're worrying about what people think of you when you're on stage and all this kind of things. But if you're doing for the right reason to help them, you really don't care what they think, because that's part of the ego part of it. And people really don't think ill of you, even though we think they do. But that's all made up. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So anyway, that's kind of the way I would explain it.
Yeah. That's an interesting thought. I like the fact that you're always doing something for other people and never, well, I can't say never for myself, but I mean, I do things for myself quite a bit. Like I go to the gym every day. Now, while that is to show other people that they can do it too, that is also because I want to be the best version of myself.
That's interesting you bring that up, because about a year ago, being 70, I could only do 10 push-ups.
Yeah.
That's all I could do. And I thought, why am I want to do push-ups? Because I want to look great and lose weight for me. I want to look great and everything like this. But when I realized that the premonition came that someday this strength is going to be needed to save my life or to save somebody else's life. And so now every morning I get up, I do 50 push-ups. In the evening, I do 50 push-ups. I've got guns, and so, and it's kind of like, but I realized that having that strength came in handy a few months ago, where a loved one had died, and a young person. and I had to get down and give them. If you've never done CPR, I've known CPR. I'm in the medical field, but I've never had to do it. But sitting there for 10 minutes, pushing down on a chest
Hard
and making
work.
that, it is, but I could not have done it if I hadn't been doing those push-ups. So I know that I'm not doing it for me. I'm doing this strength and health because if I ate that candy, sugar is not good. And pretty soon, maybe dementia and stuff, pretty soon I'm going to have everybody take care of me. And you know how that feels.
Yeah.
Right? You're the drive to want to be able to be independent and take care of myself and be in a position to help others. So when you work out, you're not doing it just for you. You're doing it so that you can help others and other people don't have to take care of you. And you're helping them by not having them to take care of your health. So that's part of the ego part of it. How many people work out and do pump up and weight and stuff? It's almost pure ego, you know. It's just sad because everybody's got a body. You never got to pick your body. We never got to pick them. You know, they are what they are. You know. So anyway.
Yeah. So I know that you talked a little about a book there called the GrandConnect. How can people get a hold of that book if they're looking to?
Well, we have two ways of distribution. The foundation we created, what we're doing is one way because we just got it done a month ago. Well, the foundation pays for books, and so what we end up doing is different groups and people that need them, we give them the book with a slip of paper so that if they want to give back and create more books, they can donate to the foundation. And the foundation is the Heart of the Father's Foundation. If you go to GrandConnect.com, the book can be bought on Amazon. And so you can go on Amazon and buy the book. And once you get the book inside it, there's like a QR code to get the free app, the Grand Tracker. You can go on GrandConnect.com and find up in the menu area, you can find where you can also get the app and download the app for free. And it's a great app for management and people who have people they supervise. But for me, it's my I'll see if I can pull it up here just real quick. But so here is the Grand Tracker. So the Grand Tracker, let's see, there it goes. So there's the app. And then what it does, I have it's reversed on the thing there, but I pull this up and there is we have like a reverse family tree.
Wow.
All my grandchildren.
Wow.
And then if I touch one of the grandchildren, I can look at their profile and I can look at their birthday and I take notes about them. And but it's a free app. Wow. And it wasn't free, believe me. It cost to create an app 7 years ago. You're into the six figures. But yeah. But for me, I've been blessed with abundance. I've been blessed. He who has been given much is expected.
That's awesome. Now, do you have any contact information you would like to give out?
Well, I think you can get a hold of me through the GrandConnect.com. I do have if a person goes on GrandConnect, they do have the contact information there. I do have my email and on my regular email, but it's probably Facebook. I'm on Facebook. You can go on there, find you. We're friends on Facebook. If people are on there, they can go to Jeff Marconette and they say, oh, not Jeff Marconette, but Jeff Marconette Jr., because your dad's also on there. But they can go and you can go on there and find me and send me a message and hook up that way. I prefer, I'm a old, you know what, it's like I tell people, yeah, I just started with it. I just quit doing MySpace here lately because nobody else was doing it. Not really. But anyway, I only had one friend on MySpace. His name was Tom. But so anyway, I'm a Facebooker. That's us boomers. That's what we do. And you can find me on.
Yeah, don't call me a boomer. I'm on Facebook.
Yeah, you know what? I'm I was putting in my resignation to the boomer generation, and I've got an application into the Gen X to see if they'll accept me.
Yeah. Wow. That is really cool. And I just want to say thank you so much for being here tonight. I know you're a busy guy, and I appreciate you taking the time out of your evening here with me and my peeps.
Well, you know what? You're a good man, Jeff, and I love you very much, and I love what you're doing. And when we first met, we connected. It's been about 6, 7 years ago, and so we've been staying in touch a little bit, and I'm glad to get to see you again,
Yeah.
and maybe we'll see each other in real life here in Ohio. And so, right,
Yeah.
you're in Ohio still?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm heading
All
to
right.
Florida. I'm heading to Florida this weekend for a week on a Disney cruise with a couple of my family kids and their grandkids. So I'll be down in Orlando here next week. So
All right. Well, that's cool. We'll have to figure something out and get together again. All
definitely.
right. Well, thank you, Roland. But I need everybody out there, including you, Roland, to do me a favor this week, next week, and for the rest of your life. I need you to make every second count. Why? Because you never know when the seconds will run out on your one life. That's all you get. Now remember, I'll see you back here next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And until then, have a fantastic week. Thanks again, Roland.
Thank you, Jeff.